What's going on, everybody? Wes and Hodkiewicz here from PackersNews.com and GreenBayPressGazette.com, joined alongside my boss, Mike Vandermause, following the first day of media availability for the Packers off-season team organized activities. And Mike, we learned a lot today. In the first time in 4 months, we've really had a chance to talk to the veterans since their loss in San Francisco. But actually, probably the biggest news came from one of their rookies. J.C. Tretter, who we got a chance to meet last week, during the Packers rookie orientation, actually broke his ankle. Independent sources have confirmed to the Press Gazette during practice on Monday, which looks to probably at least sideline him, if not most of his rookie season. Another big loss for the Packers, Mike, considering they're still waiting for Derek Sherrod to get back in the fold.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's basically his rookie season is shot. There's no way he's going to be able to come back and contribute this year. Maybe he wouldn't have contributed anyway. I mean, it would be more of a developmental thing. This is going to slow his progress in terms of, at some point down the road becoming an impact player of any kind. If the Packers had hope for that, you're going to have to put that back a year, which is unfortunate for him. And the Packers wanted to build some depth. They obviously thought highly of him. They picked him in the fourth round. So, the Packers are a little bit snake bit, as you mentioned, on the offensive line with Sherrod being out now for the better part of 2 years. So I chalk it up to bad luck.
And one guy that was absent from the OTAs was Sam Shields, after you'd have to imagine might be holding out at least for the time being. He did have a second-round tender offered to him, valued a little bit over $2 million. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus. I know Rosenhaus has gained kind of an affinity for doing these kind of measures with having his guys sit out of OTAs and mini camps. Whatever way you boil it down, though, Mike, it seemed like Mike McCarthy wasn't too pleased not having Shields back in the fold for the start of the offseason program.
Well, in McCarthy's words, he basically said, "I wish Sam was here." And, that's obvious. He's a young cornerback entering his fourth season. He showed some progress last year, developed a little bit. Packers would like to continue to see that development. It's too early to say that this is a holdout per se because these OTAs are voluntary, but, it can't help Shields not being here. And there's a lot of other good cornerbacks on this roster now, so it certainly isn't going to help his cause in terms of, developing and perhaps having a starting job by the end of training camp. So for him, it's not going to help, but I do think it comes down to a money issue, which it so often does.
As you mentioned, Mike, voluntary, the only two guys who were not there was Sam Shields and Johnny Jolly, who later tweeted that he'll be here for next week's orientation, or I should say his OTAs, because of some of the things kind of following up from his probation. So that'll be one thing to follow. Last thing I want to touch on, Mike, is the offensive line. We finally got a chance to look at it today. Talked with Brian Bulaga, Josh Sitton in the locker room. Everybody sounded like they're pretty comfortable with this move. Is this what the Packers need to do, to cut down on those 51 sacks from last year and maybe find a little bit more rhythm in that run game?
Well, I think it's obvious they needed a change. They assessed their situation. They gave up more sacks than most any team in the NFL, if not every.
All but one, Arizona.
Yeah. Yes. So they had to make some kind of a move, and this, appears to be something they feel very confident in. I talked to James Campen. He's felt really good about the move. He thinks the transition, while not being seamless, is not going to take too long for them to feel comfortable in their new spots. Tom Clemens said one of his major points of emphasis this year for the offense is to reduce the number of sacks. So obviously putting Bulaga and sitting on the left side, Aaron Rodgers' blind side, is something they think is going to help that problem.
Well, Mike and I will have all of your Packers info and stories up on PackersNews.com throughout the night. And until next time, be sure to check into PackersNews.com. For Mike, I'm Wes. We'll see you later.